Hey, it's TDA and welcome back to Astro Colony. Today we are going to take a further look at this game that is currently in beta. And as we've left off in the last episode, we are now able to catch asteroids, assuming that there's any close to us. Hey, look, there's some more gold. Let's take that as well. And all in all, our base is starting to look like a little bit of spaghetti with all the power all around, and we are going to sort that out in this episode. Furthermore, I'm also going to focus a little bit more on optimizing stuff, so let's jump to that. In order to get that going, first of all, we are going to research destruction, and now we can actually remove stuff. And in order to actually recycle that, we are going to need a recycling machine. Now, the recycling machine is not really my favorite part of the game. I just like being able to place stuff down and then pick it back up and replace it and fiddle around with it as I see fit, but apparently we can't do that in this game. So we have now powered it up, and as you can see, it has exports as well, so that is really nice. But for the moment, we are not going to use that. What we are also going to focus on is science, because we will have to, well, first of all, let's get the booster so we can boost around. But we also are going to need this new type of science. It's the engineering science in order to progress further down the science chain. So we are going to pick that up. And then the last thing that we can do is very useful, and these are the logic blocks. They are basically ways to organize your belts and transport pipes in such a way that you always know what is going where. And specifically the pusher is going to be very useful to us. So we're going to pick that one up as well. Now, what are we going to do? Well, first of all, I'm going to tear a lot of stuff down in order to reorganize some things around this little facility of ours. So the way you remove stuff is by selecting the building tool, and then for now we have the option to control right click and remove stuff. So as you can see, we can now make gaps in our little platform. I am going to do that all over the place, and then we're going to meet back and I'll show you how we're going to reorganize. Okay, so I took down most of our starting base, well, not most of it, but part of it, and specifically I took down the power. So yeah, we need new power. Now, that's easy to fix. We are going to put down a few. I think we can have room for at least two. Let's see, this is going to be on this line, so we might as well do it. Yeah, let's do it over here. So we are going to place down 1, 2 power facilities. We are going to put some power in them, so, or at least some carbon ore in them. Some in this, and then let's put in some more in this one. So now we have power, but the power isn't going anywhere. And in order to do that, we are going to take this power down. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we are going to be deleting some of these blocks in order to take the power down as we want. There we go. And some more. There we go. Now we are going to fly around. And as you can see, we have a few gaps in our base now, and that's where the power needs to go. So in order to do that, we are going to hook these two up. There we go. So let's start with our asteroid catcher so we can get some more resources. And there we go. We can also just continue on to the rest of the base, so we might as well just do that while we're at it. Ooh. That was not working like I wanted it to. We need to go up a little bit to make the line of sight a little easier. There we go. There we go. And then we are going to go down here. It's a little complicated in some ways when you're on the bottom of your base. The way the game works with the directions is up can get to be down and vice versa. So if you see me struggling with the with that, then that's why. So I think we covered all of them. So now we can go back up, and that will make life a little easier. There we go. So there we go. We have once again powered up our asteroid catcher. We have now also powered up our recycler. We can now power up. This was actually, there's actually a large block here that you can't remove. This is like the starting area, just so you can't delete your entire base. At least I suppose that's what it's intended to do. And now we have also powered this up. And then last but not least, now we have our oxygen back online. So as you can see, all working according to plan now. It's a lot more tidy without all the power running across the entire base. Now the salvager recycling machine actually works in the following way. Stuff that you delete, you actually need to put back in. And then it will start recycling it, and then you will get your items back below. And depending on what it is that you're recycling, you might not get everything back, so it's not suggested that you go out and delete everything. But for example, I took down all the electric cables, so now I need to put them back in, and we'll start recycling them, and I get my copper wires back, so I can put them, I can make some more cables if I want to, or whatever else I feel like making. Now, once again, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this mechanic because honestly it's a little bit inconvenient to have to go to the recycler in order to do that. But yeah, that's how it works, and we'll have to deal with that. Now, what else can we do? Well, we are going to get ourselves a few more of these asteroid catchers, and I think we can place them something like this. And is this aligned? Yes, it is. There we go. Do we need so many asteroid catchers? Well, not at the moment, I guess. And it might actually be more efficient to put them on the other side of the base, for example, because there's going to be a limit to how much asteroids we have on each side. But, yeah, think big. And we will definitely do that because, once again, this is an automation game, so we don't do small bases. We are going to put some asteroid catchers on the other side of the base as well, but for now, this is where we're going to place them. Oh, I'm actually out of cable, apparently, which is not a problem. We can make more. Let's make 30 more, something like that. There we go. No, that should be pretty quick, so. And it is. There we go, and now we have... Come on, finish the recipe. There you go. Okay, so now we should have power available to all of them. We do need to shortly finish this. So there we go. Click to power them up. Now let's go catch some asteroids, and let's make sure we are staying a bit to the sides when we're doing this. So in order to make as most efficient use as we can out of our asteroids. There we go, and then this one can we reach that one? Yeah, we can. I'll have to wait a moment for it actually to fly in, otherwise it will release it once again. There we go. Okay, so now we have 6 asteroids being mined. Okay, so that means that we now have a lot more space to work with, and in order to make use of all that space, what we're going to do is we are once again going to place down our smelter. And I think this is a pretty good position to do that. Should we place down 2? No, let's not overdo it for the moment. There we go. Now we need to make a belt to get all our stuff to the smelter. And of course we also need to power up our smelter. I'm gonna do that in a second, but before we do that, what I also want to make over here is a storage facility. And that's just going to be very convenient for us to keep all our stuff in and have basically just a central place where we can find everything that we have. So how are we going to do that? Well, do we bother actually with the storage units? Maybe not just yet. because we might as well just keep it in the smelter, maybe? Maybe? Let's just do it like this. Then we have a very nice central storage unit. And then the last thing I do want to make is our science facility. Now, I am going to put our science facility probably over here. Why can't I build that? Oh, because we haven't yet made enough of those iron wire. So we are going to need 20 of those. So if I craft this 5 times, let's just do it 7 times. So we have a little bit of surplus. We are going to place that over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again connect all the power to these facilities that we've just built. And I'm also going to go and make ourselves some conveyor belts because we're going to need a lot of them. So be right back. I actually placed the smelter and the storage unit on the other side now, and the reason I've done that is because it makes our base a little bit less spaghetti even than I had originally planned, so that is always a good thing to have. We are actually low on water at the moment, but we'll fix that in a moment as well. So we're going to do a lot of things in a moment apparently. Let's see. We are going to be placing down a lot of conveyor belts, and the way we're going to do that is actually in the reverse order because that makes life a lot easier. So conveyor belts, they have a direction, so we need to be mindful of that. So by simply connecting this, we'll have our outputs going into our storage unit, so that's good. What we're also going to do is we are going to have a belt that will start, I think, around here-ish. There we go. And then we will have a belt that goes something like this. There we go. Now, we only want copper, gold, and iron to go in here. So what we can actually do is we can have a little belt over here. And then I think we need to do this something like this. Then we can have an input going into the water. Actually, it doesn't need to go in here, does it? No, well, not necessarily. We can have it go in over here, but we actually want it to go in the water collection unit. So let's select that and delete that one. And then what direction is this set to now? That direction. So let's do this like this, and then like that, and then finally like that. So that should work, I think. And in order to get only water on this belt, we are going to use the logic blocks, and specifically we are going to use the pusher. So we're going to put a pusher in here, and then we are going to modify the pusher, and this is going to be pushing water or ice to be specific. So the ice is going to be pushed out onto this belt, and then everything else is just going to go straight on. Now, let's continue on with the belt. We are going to have a belt from over here that intersects with that, but we're also going to have a belt over here. Going in here like this. And then like that. And like that. And then once again, we are going to have a pusher. I hope this actually works. But I think it should. A pusher, and then that pusher is going to push coal right on this belt, and then it will go in here. Now it's going to be a little annoying to also get it in here, so because I don't think there's really a maximum amount that you can set to go into one unit, but for now this will do. We can always solve that by having a separate belt. Actually, what we could do, let's not overthink this for the moment. We'll be fine. So, more conveyor belts. Where are my conveyor belts? There they are. Okay, so now what I want is a long conveyor belt that goes all the way through like that. And I wonder if I do it like this, will this work? There we go. All nice and dandy. And there we go. So let's see if this is working like intended, shall we? We should have coal coming in here, and that's going to be pushed out correctly. And we'll go into our power facility. Nice. And now all the things that we want smelted are going to go into our smelter, so working like intended there. Do we have any ice on the belt so far? Don't think so. So let's test that out. Let's find an ice asteroid. Oh, there's some gold over there, so let's also pick up the gold while we're at it. And yeah, let's just catch some random other asteroids, because why not? Is the water already coming out? There we go. I keep saying water, it is ice, but yeah, it's getting turned into water, so I hope you'll forgive me. And there we go. Nicely done on the belt, and then hopefully it should get pushed into there. Bloop, there we go. And then into the water, into the water, into the water. Or icebreaker, I should say. Yes, and now the icebreaker is working. So now, as long as we are catching asteroids, we've completely automated our base. Well, not completely, because of course the catching of the asteroids themselves is not automated just yet. But as you can see, that doesn't really take that much time. And then all the inputs here. Let's see. If we look in our box, there we go. We now have a lot of materials to work with, and they are all in our storage. And yeah, that is all pretty working pretty nicely, so that is really nice and efficient. Now the next thing that we want to start working on is our research, and in order to do that we should now be able to place down our research center like this. And we are. Now, the problem with this laboratory is that, well, first of all, it's really huge. But the research itself, we don't really necessarily want to automate this just yet, because this is going to be using the copper and iron bars, as you will see in a moment when I place it down. So let me do that. We can set it down like this and just have it face into the direction of our storage unit. So if we want to automate it at some point, we can. But if you check it out, it will produce engineering science from iron and copper. You can put scientists in it. We don't actually have any scientists just yet, so that's not going to work. But what you can actually also do is assign technology. But for the moment, we are not going to do that just yet. What we're going to do is simply do this by hand. So we are going to take all of that stuff in our inventory. Yay! And then we are going to be a little bit selective on what we put in here. So, for example, we could say, let's put down 7 and 7 more. And then, yeah, this is actually not working because we haven't powered it up yet. So let's get on that. And there we go. I put some power in it and it should now be researching. So there we go. It is working at 71% efficiency. Not entirely sure why that is. That's probably because we are low-ish on power. Yeah, we are. So let's see how much is in here. Not that much actually. Do we have some surplus in our inventory? Yes, we do. Okay, there we go. So now I think we should be operating at 100% efficiency. Let's find out. Yeah, we are. So back in business, and we are now researching engineering science. Now, what can we do with that? Quite a few things. It's basically the next tier in our science progression. Now, there's a lot of things that we can now unlock. But what I want to be aiming for in the next episode is automating our asteroid catching, because now we have to do everything automatic, everything by hand. But how awesome is it if we have asteroids flying around that are automatically caught by our system and then put into use somewhere else. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I try to keep them a little brief and to the point with 1 or 2 little projects per episode, so hence the shorter episodes, otherwise it would be very long. I hope you enjoyed this one, and join me next time when we are going to catch us some asteroids automatically.